going on, everyone? Welcome to the first ever episode of the Goddrifter podcast. Now, essentially, it's just me by myself wanting to talk about random topics. So, more importantly, the three topics I want to talk about is season 3 for Burnout Car Reviews. It's also more Carshows, last assigned, not least. Create a solo host, obviously. And the true question is, are the actual policies dying? So, what I'm here to do, let's talk about season 3 of Burnout Car Reviews. Now, for those that do not know, Burnout Car Reviews was kind of an interesting take on how I played Burnout Paradise. And essentially, I had the game for normally done a couple of years. But then it kind of hurt the remasters by the console. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna wait until like the game gets cheaper so I can actually buy it. And guess what? The game was on sale.
What's wrong with her now?
Well, let's see, the regular edition I ended up paying over like $19 for, but
Should be running better than that.
it should be fine. Let's see, what else is there? Oh. Give me a moment. Sorry, I do not like. I keep on forgetting to actually.
That's a beauty right there.
Oh yeah. So, in terms of the return, it depends on if I want to make more of those type of videos. Because
Careful of potholes.
out of every single thing I actually made about those cars, making Burnout Paradise car reviews is actually the most fun I ever had on making content for this channel. Now, essentially, I know that I know it sounds ridiculously boring, but I'd say I had a lot more fun at time making a Burnout Paradise car review video than a what's that called? Oh yeah, I have more fun actually making Burnout Paradise car review than making a car show. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I had to guess what it's kind of like. It's kind of like if you wanted to get.
You got great taste.
Oh great! I can't even compare. I can't even compare something without having a brain fart. Oh, now I remember. Essentially, it's kind of like drifting versus drag racing. It's kind of like that. So most likely the process of making a better car review is the fact that I'm doing these one by one, um, and essentially I was on to the point where I was doing this mess every day, to the point where I'm like, okay, that's actually not bad. I mean, in the end, it's not bad to actually pursue those those goals in life that you want to actually make content for it. But essentially, I stopped because like that was like the last episode of season 2. Now, here's how this works. Season 1 was for Class D cars. Class C was season 2. Now, Class B is season 3. Now, in terms of why I am basing these off of the classes of cars, it's because there are more variety than I can think them for. Now, more or less, uh, there are good ways to actually do car reviews, and there is a bad way to do car reviews. Um, and on the topic of series, um, I'm thinking of actually, um, I am actually indeed thinking of doing a racing cliches full-on explanation on what to do with the series. But more or less, it's not as bad as most people think of it. It's like, oh no, you're going away from your main content. While in actuality, I don't have a main content. It's just the fact that most people refer to me as the guy that does car shows every day, than to simply put
Anything you need, boss. Hi there.
what's it called?
What can I do for
Simply
you?
put, oh, don't worry,
Quite
just
a collection you've got here.
grab this thing and then just go somewhere else. It's like, okay, cool, why not?
They're bringing your personal vehicle around right now.
So yeah, more or less, um, unlike any other type of thing that usually happens in web series, um, I kind of got inspired to make my own racing type of deal. Not to mention the way that these wait, what might be it? No, it's not. Okay, we're good. Anyway, so what makes me want to make my own web series or web comic for that matter? Well, due to the fact that web comics are kind of a new thing in terms of um, having a a writer's touch. At the same time, you can also draw on what's happening, and you can actually just write in the you can also write in character traits, but more or less, web comics are, if lack of a better term, they're really awesome. Due to the fact that you can actually take one thing and write about it, and essentially it keeps the reader engaged on the story. To like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? Or what's gonna happen next? Like, yeah, pretty cool. Alright, car shows. I plan on doing more of them. As in, not, as in, not just in Gran Turismo Sport. As in, if I ever got PS5 and when Gran Turismo Sport, no, Gran Turismo 7 comes out, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the new norm where literally car shows everywhere, and you guys see what kind of cars you can actually make while we end up going for at the same time, more or less, I do like how do love how realistic the cars are in Gran Turismo 7. Like, if anything, a lot of people are ready to actually put their money down on the newest Gran Turismo game. Because keep in mind, we didn't get Gran Turismo until 2017. And when the PS4 first came out, we never got into Gran Turismo game. Instead, we asked for something else. A game called Drive Club. Ever heard of it? Well, of course we did, because their studio closed down a couple of years ago. So what is the fact that carless, let's see, cars, mostly European, are teamed up with one thing in mind, and that is to actually win as a team. But you can also do this thing solo, but more or less it's not that bad, or not that bad, or it's not that good. But more or less it's just, it's alright. Not to mention, that was a really good game for
What miracle did you want me to perform?
From a developer that actually was behind the MotorStore games. Yeah, Evolution Studio was behind MotorStore. And I loved the absolute mess out of that game, especially if you played the demo as a kid and you just remembered the moments where you tried to not hit anything, but you still end up hitting everything. So yeah, Carshows are not going anywhere due to the fact that at one point I'm thinking of doing a GTA SEMA show where literally you have like two people. It's like two people working together on what type of car it's supposed to be, and they had to create their own like name for the name of their own company, but they had to keep PG, like it's not that hard to keep things PG. Now I do have the reason why I stopped doing Southern Carshows a couple of days ago is because I actually do want to try something new this year, but it got shut down due to the fact that one person's like, oh, can we do Tokyo again? Like it's much more, it's easier to do, and it's like, pretty sure if I remember correctly, I was planning to do Willow Springs because most people haven't done Willow Springs in a while. So more or less, uh, Willow Springs will be the main car show course, and if you don't like it, then you can leave. I'm not trying to babysit everybody, but more or less, car shows can be fun. It's just that, okay, for those that are future car show hosts, just asking the first things like, is anybody new to car shows? And it's like, and it's like if someone says no, it's like okay, either he's kind of right and he's really good at picking car categories, or they're lying and it's like, you're like, you told me that you know how car shows work. So more or less, no, they need to stop saying that. But moreover, the actual car show thing is still going on. It's just that I just need a break from doing car shows and I want to like focus on other games as well. And speaking of which, the racing cliches is, for those that do not know, the racing cliches type of thing is kind of like this. It's based off of the overly sarcastic series known as Trope Talk, where Red actually talks about her favorite thing in actual media, writing. And essentially, here's the thing, racing cliches is kind of like writing a story of racing movies, except for the fact that instead of everything you see in books, movies, or video games, for me it's specifically aimed towards racing games, racing videos, and racing movies. So like for example, if I talked about NOS, it's because NOS is actually not spelled N-A-W-S-S. No. It's actually an acronym for nitrous oxide system. So yeah, those are like NOS, things that their flames coming out of the those are wondering if flames are coming out of the exhaust. Well, it's because it's because of pacifier or amplifier, or in other words, a misfiring system. For example, this knockoff of a Bentley is shooting flames. So that's because I deaccelerate, because I look at the accelerator, and it's producing flames like crazy. More or less, it's kind of a fancy way of saying, oh, it's like, oh, I'm actually boosted, not using nitrous oxide system. Which, keep in mind, oh, speaking of not using NOS in drag racing, Need for Speed Heat people, if you don't want to use NOS, you don't have to use NOS. But in actuality, in terms of drag racing, people use nitrous to actually gain more horsepower. And it's not like, oh, he's using NOS, he's cheating. That's how actual drag racing works. But since everybody's in street cars, I would assume that, oh, he's using, like, oh, it's a street car, so you're not supposed to have nitrous in there. So, anyway, so, anyways, racing cliches. This is a very important thing about racing cliches, and it is to let people know that if they're going to make a video game, make sure they do this and make sure they don't do that. Because I one day want to make my own video game, and I don't want some of these things to happen. And not to mention, it also creates diversity between video games. And don't worry, what's that? I wasn't paying attention. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So, in terms of the car show topic, I'm going to do a trope talk, which will probably lead from 30 to 34 minutes of me talking about a certain trope of racing games. So there's that. Also, for more information on what racing cliches are, I'm going to add a new tab on Discord known as Racing Cliches, where you can actually put down what racing cliches are most notorious in racing games, and you'll know them all pretty well. Because keep in mind that usually the fastest car, and also keep note that overpowered cars are not a trope. That's someone's coding, and yeah, if you're trying to give it to them like a 4-star song, well, here's the thing. Back then, that was a homologation vehicle. They need to make 100 or 5,000 of those to actually compete in grades. Now, it's time for me to talk about the final topic, and the final topic is kind of sad. Well, it's not kind of sad, but it's probably going to be the funniest thing ever. And that is rating creative soul characters in Goddrifter 6. Now, for those that are wondering, what do I mean by rating characters? It's actually quite simple. Usually me and a person will probably go into my own creative soul. I create a soul characters and rate my own characters based on the look, theme, personality, and weapon. So, hey, hello, welcome to the live stream. Oh yeah. So yeah, not to mention, rating characters can actually be hilarious. If you have one person with you versus rating all the characters by yourself, like you had nothing to lose. But more or less, I'm gonna choose a different car because I can't control my own car apparently. Now what was I? Oh yeah. Creating soul. Creating soul. it's not a bad thing to actually create characters in video games, but
You're through to your garage. You, need me to bring you a ride?
so yeah, basically I play a fighting game and a racing game channel because I wanted to. And not to mention, there are a lot of things that can actually
It's on the way.
go right with creating characters, and there are something that can go wrong with creating characters. That's just my personal opinion. Now, the main question that for those that play Caliber 6 would know, and that is, our original characters die, as in our creating what's that called? Creating a sole character is bleh, I can speak like is our people's MCs dying in terms of like what kind of characters they want to make. Well, to answer your question, that'll probably be a yes and a no. The reason I say yes is because more than enough, you will see a lot of recreation of characters, and trust me, you won't believe how many Falcos from Star Fox I keep fighting, as well as the many Gokus I've been fighting, and especially Natsus. Too many Natsus from Fairy Tail versus someone's own created character, and most likely, thanks to Reddit, I find out the reason why people don't create LCs anymore. And that is the fact that either in terms of male LC characters, is that they're either way too OP or they're ridiculous edgelords that don't know how character development. While at the same time, in terms of creating female characters, they keep making their own waifus. Ugh. Okay, I kind of understand where they're going. To. No. Oh yeah. In terms of creating female characters, I'm pretty sure they can't help but creating. What's the word? Oh yeah, really attractive waifus, which, believe it or not, if I remember correctly, you can do one day without creating a waifu, while at the same time having a character that can actually have development. And here's an example. My character Julian is a pirate that is the leader of an infamous pirate crew, but in actuality, she's actually a princess that ran away from home and decides to join the pirate gang because not only to disrespect her own family privileges, but at the same time, she is tired of living that noble life. And the same thing goes to, here's the thing, in terms of how many OCs I have, well, essentially, I have to guess, I have around five new characters. And the 5 characters are Evo, Julian, Vera, Marcus, and last but certainly not least, oh, right, Oh yeah. Um. Oh god dang it. Yeah, I completely forgot about the. I say. Turns out that I don't have five. I have four because apparently I can't remember like. Can't remember my last main character. I want to talk about. But. Okay. Anyways, no, wait. Actually, I do remember now. It's Alpha. That's and yeah, Alpha is another main character of mine. Now, essentially, what I wanted. What are those names? Well, let me explain how things go on. And before that, let me just park my car real quick, and I can tell you the details behind. Details behind the characters that I made. Alright, so let's start with Evo. Evo is known as an Omni, a type of person that has both human and animalistic DNA. And uh, not to mention the actual DNA is spliced with a mythological creature and an animal. So, literally, it's kind of like having, it's kind of like a werewolf, but instead of wolf DNA, it's kind of like having an animalistic DNA that most humans can actually, uh, most people prefer. For example, if you end up with cheetah DNA, you probably have super speed, or you can actually run faster than an average human. Oh, you have wolf DNA. Well, you can actually hear. You can hear 20 times better than an average human, but at the same time, your ears can actually be a major weakness due to the fact that any loud noises or any loud or any loud or disturbing noise can actually render your ears useless. But there are also there are also some uh, secondary abilities that you get from a mythological creature, and these type of DNAs you can actually find yourself with a mythological creature. For example, if you have dragon DNA, you can actually be resistant to any elemental, but unfortunately, any elemental that has been that is trying to damage you can actually be considered useless, unless it is a dragon variant of that specific. Um, well, unless it's either a god it either it is a god variant of that specific magic, or you can get them without any problem. So more so more like any more than anything else, um, I was also wondering, Evo has both wolf and dragon DNA inside his bloodstream, so literally he has super hearing and elemental resistance. And not to mention, there are also some weaknesses in terms of having elemental resistances.
You need something, huh? One of your rides? I'll get back to it then.
Because most likely either, what's that called? So more than likely it's either,
Hey, how can I help? Okay, my friend. I'll take care of the LSPD. Leave it to me.
what was it? Oh yeah. So, even though he has, even though he has animal and, uh, oh crap. Even though that Evo has both dragon and wolf DNA, he's still trying to find ways to actually counteract his weaknesses. Like for example, wearing a specific scar can actually gain him the ability of being protected from or any of any anti-giant or god magic. But unfortunately for him, the only weaknesses that he has to counteract is
All patched up.
what he has to deal with is literally a thing that most people will have found easily knowing, like light and dark magic. Okay, that was the thing. Oh yeah. Well, most likely, depending on how many characters, right? Basically, also it depends on how many characters you actually have. So most likely, four characters out of any main character will also probably have a supporting cast. For example, with Evo is Sora, Tatsuki, Axel, and Lee Mei. Let's mention not just Lee Mei, but was Yang, Yuki, and Reika. With Vera, it is uh, is Brutus, Caroline, Mary, and last but certainly not least, Sullivan, along with Leona and Alexandra. With Jolene is Miura, Shuno, and uh, Shuno, Reen, Zhao Xuan, and uh, Miu. Last but not least, with Marcus is Nico, Shura, the same couple characters I mentioned the first time, and basically, as well as Alexander, Alexander, Andrew, and many, many, many more. So without a doubt, um, now the reason why the reason why why this question is on my mind is because of how many recreations I keep
Now
seeing.
this we can make some money on.
Right, this is. Oh wow, okay, 20 grand. That's not bad. Let me just call in, and there's the car.
What you need, boss? Some wheels? I can bring them round.
If I remember correctly, it should be in garage 2. Yep.
It's coming
Um,
at you.
yeah, whatever. Anyways, um, so looks like, oh right, I haven't tell you about the tell you about another LC of mine known as where the heck is my car's all the way over there. God dang it, mechanic! You could have just sent it here, but no. Instead, you put my car all the way right there. Ay, ay. I will not be surprised if I end up getting a bounty. But, I mean, well, this, that would have been like, yeah, it's time to stay away from. It's time to actually stay away from people for literally a couple of days. Uh, where was I? Oh yeah. Um, in terms of Vera's backstory, Vera is a Russian knight that is from the 1500s. The reason that she was picked as a knight is because, well, obviously, in terms of the emperor or empress, depending on which is which at the time, she was picked as the first knight of Russia, and essentially became. Great. I believe we got the one thing. Put my car out. Had to put my car all the way from the dockyard to another dockyard. In terms of Marcus, uh, essentially, it's gonna be a interesting take on the character because out of all the characters I made, he is by far my most modern character I can actually think of. Why you may ask? Well, essentially, the school he goes to is a battle school, and nothing says battle school than a really good character and some good character development, more or less. I don't know what. Okay, the funniest thing is the fact that if they're going to be doing any type of dealing, they need to be able to be at least consistent. Like, literally, this car screams. Oh, don't worry, I'm not totally not gonna bust everybody in the entire in a 50-mile radius. Yeah, that's totally not gonna happen. Oh my goodness, well, whose idea is this? But more or less, oh well, most importantly, anyways, so long story short, our OC's dying. Well, like I said, yes and no. Yes, because people still make them to this day, and no, because a lot of people just don't care about literally the main OCs. So yeah, that's about it. Um, just gonna sell an import card and I can join you. Actually, I'm about to get off this game a little bit sooner than later. um, no, actually, here's the reason why. No, here's the. I'm literally in a lobby by myself because I was actually wanted to get this car because I was given $1 million. So yeah, I ended up spending almost all my money on these doggone cars. But now the only time you'll see any GTA gameplay is probably because I'm doing like a podcast, or it's gonna be just showing off my cars. But mostly it's gonna be a podcast because everybody's doing them. Alright. Since everybody's doing it, I might as well do it as well. It didn't get like 10 minutes. Don't you get 1 million plus bonus? Yeah, it's because of that. And not to mention, wait, isn't the Bentley like 985 grand? Hold on. Bentley. Oh, yeah, it's $1 million grand. So there's that. Yeah, it's 905 minus $1 million, and yeah, this is basically the absolute mess that I call my own garage. Oh my god. Okay. So, in terms of what I learned today in terms of podcasts, GTA is good for actually producing podcasts. I know that for sure. uh, let's see. Not only is it good for podcasts, but it is good to talk about topics that most people wouldn't talk about, and well, not politics, but more or less gaming wise. Um, there's that. Um, and last but certainly not least, rating characters is funny. This title is that for sure. Um, so anyway, um, without any further ado, um, I'm gonna stand this front of this charger and I'm gonna say my outro. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below and see you next. Also follow me on Instagram at Goddrifter247sun and follow me on Twitter at GD27S at Goddrifter247sun And I do have a Discord. It's known as Goddrifter247sun Productions Garage and Museum. And last but certainly not least, be sure to stay tuned because today is the moment where I come back to GT Sport for another car show. So, without any further ado, I hope to see you guys later today. And if not, probably tomorrow. You never know because I literally have a Zoom call at 7 tonight. So, there's that. Any further ado, I'll let you guys go for now. Hope you guys have a Thursday. Have a dope Thursday, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Goddrifter to sign off. Peace.